Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm still alive, and in today's video I have 3 Dollar Tree DIYs to show you. In this first DIY, I'm taking one of those Dollar Tree hag witches and I'm removing the hood from her head. Next, I found this purple play hair in the costume section of Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure they have this all year long though in the toy section. Then I found this $5 witch's hat headband in Walmart. I have seen cheaper ones at Dollar General for $1, but I really loved this one, so I purchased this one. I removed the witch's hat from the headband. And then I also removed the headband from the purple play hair. Then I took my hot glue gun and glued the braided portion of the hair and wrapped it around the witch's head. Now, this is going to look a little funny because she's going to have a bald spot on her head, but we will be fixing that, so don't worry. Now, as you can see, I'm doing this section by section. I didn't do a whole line of hot glue and then just glue it on. I did a little by little and then carefully secured it to her head. And this is where I ran into a little bit of an issue. The hair was very thin, so I decided that I was going to take this Dollar Tree scarf and replace the original cape and hood that she came in. And I just cut the cape off, and it was also secured by a zip tie, so I cut that off as well. And honestly, you could skip this step. I just wanted to replace the cape that she came in because I personally did not like it. And this is what you should have left. You should literally just have her head and these little styrofoam arms. Then I'm taking the Dollar Tree scarf and I'm laying it out sideways. And then I'm placing the witch on top of it and wrapping the scarf around her arms. And I decided to use the excess, because it's very long, I decided to use the excess part of the scarf down below right here. And I cut a piece of it off and I used this as her hood. Now, to make the hood, I literally just did what Dollar Tree had originally done. I wrapped the excess scarf around the top of her head, and then I took a zip tie and I wrapped that around her neck, and I just zip tied it on there, and then I cut off the excess material. I will say this, the hair was very hard to work around, so just be cautious not to zip tie her hair in with her hood. I feel like what I'm about to say is going to be very out of place in this video, but there is no room for me to put this at the end. So when you guys attach the cauldron, you're going to want to put something heavy in it to weigh it down, otherwise it will tip backwards. I personally just used a candle. And this is what the witch should be looking like at this point. And now I'm just taking the scarf, I'm placing the witch on top of it, and once again, I'm just wrapping the scarf around her arms. Then I'm doing the same thing that I did with her hood to her cape. I'm just taking a zip tie, and I'm using a zip tie to secure it to her neck. And then because her arms are styrofoam, we cannot use hot glue, but they do have metal wire in them, and I just used the metal wire to secure her cape to her arms. And then I'm taking the witch's hat and I'm going to be putting that on top of her head just to cover up the braid. I honestly could not figure out if I wanted to put it on the proper way with the lace in front, or if I wanted it in the back. I ended up going with it in the back because I wanted you to be able to see her hag face. My only real issue with the hat being on backwards is that the seam is now in front, but it's okay, I still really like it this way. Next, I took some white paint and I just painted her eyes, and then after I painted her eyes, I set it aside to dry, and then I took a permanent marker to make her pupils. I did kind of mess up her left eye, so I went back in with some white paint and I fixed it that way. Now, I'm not 100% sure what happened here, but I think I am missing some video footage. But I took this cauldron that I found at Walmart for around $4. I cut off the handles and I attached the witch to this. And I attached the witch by using some more zip ties. I pushed the zip ties through where the handles used to be, and then through the scarf and over her arms. And then I placed some Dollar Tree green spider web inside with an LED puck light. Dollar Tree does carry puck lights in their hardware/lighting section, and this is how it turned out. Next, I'm going to be recreating a DIY that I actually did when I first started my channel. It is probably the most popular DIY on my channel, and it is just one of these wooden witch cutouts. Now, when I did this the first time, the witches were a lot smaller and they were shaped different, but I decided to do a larger version and I did it a little bit different this time. I took my X-Acto knife and I cut out the cauldron from the witch. And then I took some matte black paint and a foam brush and I just painted the witch on both sides. And then I also painted the rectangular wood cutout that I also previously showed. And then I took a thinner paintbrush to paint the sides of the witch because the foam paintbrush was just too hard to work with to get into all the nooks and crannies. And then again, I'm taking one of these $4 Walmart cauldrons and I'm taking some more green spider web that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I also am taking this LED lamp. I found this in the lighting section and I put it in sideways. If I had tilted it upright, it would have blocked some of the light. And then I'm taking some of these spiders that came with the spider web and I'm just sticking it on top of the spider web. And then I'm taking my hot glue gun and drawing a line down the rectangular piece of wood that I have. And then I'm sticking the witch on top of that. And because this witch is a little on the larger side, I did have to add quite a bit of hot glue. I added hot glue on both sides and then I used the end of my paintbrush to kind of smooth the hot glue out. And then I took some black acrylic paint and I painted the hot glue so it would blend in a little bit more with the wooden pieces. And because there is a hole in the witch's hat, I took one of the rings from the spider web that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I cut the ring part off, I added a little bit of hot glue, and I stuck it to her hat. And then the last time I did this DIY, I had some comments saying to add a light to the back of the witch, so that's what I did. However, this in particular light did not come from the Dollar Tree. It does light up in different colors, so I used a green light. However, you could use a Dollar Tree puck light and just take a Sharpie and color it green. But here is a visual with it with just a regular light in the back. I like it both ways, honestly. And then for the very last DIY, I'm taking one of these Dollar Tree leaf garlands, along with some of these flocked pumpkins. The leaf garland was $1.50 and the pumpkins were $3. Basically, we're just going to be making a fuller garland. The first thing I did was I cut off the twine from the flocked pumpkins, and then I attached these alligator clips. I found these in the automotive section in Walmart. I think they were on clearance for less than $2. And then I took some hot glue and I glued them on the underside of the pumpkin. And then after the hot glue was done drying, I clipped them onto the garland that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. 9 of these pumpkins came in a pack, but I only ended up using 6. And then I took some of these leaves that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I purchased 4 bunches, and then I cut them off from the larger stem that they were connected to, if that makes sense. And these were $1.50, but really quickly, I do want to mention that they have these at Walmart, and I prefer those ones over these ones because they didn't have glitter, and they were 26 cents cheaper, so you can save yourself a little money there. I spent around $15 on this, and this could have easily costed $30 to $40 if you had purchased it at a big box store. Anyways, I am running a little bit behind with what is happening on the screen, but I did take my X-Acto knife and I cut off the plastic that is around the wire, and when I had the ones with 2 leaves, I stopped where it was connected, and then where the single leaf was, I stopped where it attached. Again, I really hope this is making any sense. And then I took my hot glue gun and hot glued the wire to the leaves just to keep them from popping off because they kept falling off and it was really annoying. Then I'm taking the leaves and just popping them into the pumpkins where I think they look best. Next, I found these picks at Walmart for $1.24, and I just thought they would add a little bit of something to the garland. And then I attached them with these zip ties. Dollar Tree does have zip ties, but my zip ties came from Walmart. Then I took 2 zip ties and I attached one towards the top of the pick and one towards the bottom of the pick. Then I took this tulle that I found in the Halloween section of Dollar Tree, and I just tied it in the spots where the wreath looked bare. Then I took some of these LED wire lights and I added them to my wreath. Now, Dollar Tree does have these without the jack-o'-lanterns on them or without the bats, but mine was out of them, so I just purchased them and pulled the little jack-o'-lanterns off, and then I added the lights to the wreath. And this is how it turned out. I do want to mention there are more lights towards the right side of the garland. You just can't tell. I just think it was bad placement for the video. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Bye!